Hello everyone! Welcome back to Drawn by Annie channel, where I'm showcasing my art process as well as yapping about different topics. So grab your drinks and let's get started. I've been into a large scale format of the sketchbook recently, so I decided to catch this workflow and draw another drawing of my original character Agatha that belongs to Lyria World, and kinda demonstrate how a front facade can be different from what's going on inside a person's head. Because you know what? I can kind of relate to this very much. And oftentimes, believe me or not, this is not a very pleasant experience. I'll get to that after I briefly explain to you what I'm going to do in the artwork. So as usual, I'm starting with a pencil sketch with HB pencil and using one of my large scale thin papered sketchbooks for that. And my plan is to make a line art and a coloring with alcohol based markers and hope for the best that it's not going to bleed through all 100 pages of the sketchbook. I'm joking, I am using a protection for that. So in one of my previous videos, I have mentioned that I've been undergoing a mental health screening, and surprise, surprise, I got a diagnosis of ADHD. Most of you will probably say, yeah, here we go, another social media person saying they have a diagnosis and stuff. But appears that I also have an RSD diagnosis, but like a milder milder version of it, which clearly explains my socializing skills. They are not great, trust me. So at least I get to talk about it online and maybe find a few people that understand me, which will be great. So I guess from now on, from time to time, I'm going to share my fun little experience as an ADHD person, because everyone's experience is different and maybe my stories will help out someone else out there. And also I have heard that people like to see other people struggle. So this artwork that I'm doing right now is very illustrative for you guys. Many people think for some reason that ADHD or autism are like either superpower or a disability, which I can understand the point they're coming from, because hyperfixing is the real thing. And if I get to hyperfix productive thing, it feels great, not gonna lie. Like I can sit there for hours and days and weeks and months straight doing one thing over and over and over again and achieve such goals that neurotypical people could never in such a short period of time. It would take them, I don't know, years to achieve same thing. But the problem is that this kind of hyperfixation and these kind of achievements come at a cost. And this cost is usually your physical health and sometimes mental health as well, depending on how sensitive you are towards those things. So I guess the superpower stereotype comes from this hyperfixation and ability to achieve like specific skills and levels of the skill. And the disability part comes from the consequence of such achievements. And now looking back at the life that I had, and mind you, I'm more than 30 years old at this point. Some will say that I'm too young still, and some will say I'm already too old, but whatever. 30 years is a long period of time to struggle, you know, because things that I have to deal with every day drains a lot of energy, and I wish I had all the support that people have right now. And I'm really grateful for my husband, who is very understanding and helping me through all the social struggles specifically, and is also a very handsome partner and supportive and kind and understanding. You know, I'm very lucky to have him, so shout out to my husband. And it is only because of him I can speak about it freely, and also a couple of friends of mine that have been there for me for years. Even though they didn't know that I have diagnosis, they still could bear me and my flaws and the symptoms of diagnosis that I never had before. It's a very small group of people, but I'm very appreciative of every one of them, because no matter what is happening inside my head, I need another person to share share it with, so it will be more bearable. I decided to share this little part of my life because Agatha as a character is struggling with very similar thing. Maybe not because of the same reasons that I do, but she has been through a trauma that also affected her personality. She has been an urchin from a very young age, and she doesn't even remember her parents or any other family members that she had before because they were all assassinated. And growing up with a clear thought that the world is not the safe space and everybody could be the danger is definitely going to affect you and the way you think and act. So as a matter of protection, she put on this facade of a composed person while inside of her head she is struggling so much, like literally every event triggers her anxiety and negative thought spiral, and therapists call this catastrophization. So basically she's thinking of all the negative scenarios that could go wrong, and she's trying to mentally prepare for them so it wouldn't catch her off guard when it happens, if that makes sense, because she's always expecting things to go wrong. And she's also very socially awkward, even though she's coming from a race that is meant to be like strong in mental part, not in physical. And she's supposed to be, good with people and good with knowledge and smart and everything and performative. So this pressure and stereotypes also put on the stress on her mentally. So the brain works this way that she's trying to perform and act as much as possible to whatever people are trying to expect of her, so she could be safe and likable. Because if you are part of a tribe, you are safe. If there are people who protect you, you are also safe and your chances of survival are higher. It comes from our monkey brains from back in time where we were living in wild and we were relying on the tribe for safety, for food, survival and everything. So this kind of thing is not removed from brain easily, and it's not even removed. I don't think it's even removable from our brain. It's like a base foundation for any living creature out there, if that makes sense. So all those psychological coping mechanisms and trying to pretend that you're like everybody else is very understandable. So with this artwork, even though I tried to be on a little funnier side, I still wanted to bring up a matter of people's need to mask in order to be accepted in the society or the group of people that they are hanging out with. But this is not a very long-term solution because you can mask only for so long. And as a person who is doing this constantly, or at least was doing that constantly, I can tell you that this is very exhausting. And I can tell you 100% from experience that this kind of behavior, if made long enough, can bring a very serious mental issues. As someone who is receiving the help right now, I can tell you that my initial diagnosis, which was a major depressive disorder and then recurring depressive disorder, wouldn't ever be there if I weren't trying to mask all the time and pretend that I belong to the wrong group of people, because really I didn't belong to there because I didn't feel well, I wasn't accepted, and I had to act all the time in order to be likable. And if you have to do all this effort just to be there, this is not worth it at all. Because honestly, now that I am not hanging out with such people, I'm so much more happier, even though I only hang out with a couple of friends, like literally 3 people. That's fine. If we feel like we can hear each other, we can see each other, and we feel each other, and we have stuff to talk about, and we have fun hanging out, this is the right place, right? Because we are supposed to be making happier each other, not putting down each other, because that's bullshit if you ask me. When I cut off all the toxic relationships and friendships from my life, I suddenly have so much free time. At first I was kind of startled, like, what do I do now and how am I supposed to act and blah blah blah. So there were like a ton of questions in my head running, and then I realized that all this free time I can now spend on drawing and actually enjoying myself. So I'm just doing that, and I'm looking for new hobbies that I can enjoy no matter what. And if there are people that are also enjoying the same hobby with me, this is perfect. This is like dream. So for some reason, for the longest time in my life, I thought that in order to enjoy life, you have to have a ton of friends and go to parties and socialize and blah, blah, blah. But now that I'm 30 plus years old, I am more happy on my own or with my husband than I have ever been with all these groups of people and parties and everything. Like, yeah, in the moment I might feel happy and I might enjoy the party and everything, but afterwards, the crash out after the socializing and then reminiscing if I have been a good friend or I have been acting good so nobody got hurt by me and me being me too much, you know. So all of this bullshit is now gone from my life and for good. And honestly, I couldn't be more happier than that. And keeping a couple of friends that I have right now that we're vibing with, that we're seeing each other and understanding each other, and we're constantly discussing some interesting stuff, and we can be honest with each other without having to mask and cover up. And I couldn't be happier about it. By the way, Agata also has found her gang, so basically the party of players that are testing out the Lyria World tabletop roleplay game for me are basically her tribe, even though they sometimes bully her because of her funny behaviors, but they're generally pretty good with her. So yeah, today's wish of the day for you is to find your tribe and be happy with them. Everything is good in balance and harmony, so I really hope everybody finds their tribe. Hope you enjoyed the art process and my little yapping here. Wishing you a fantastic day ahead. Stay safe and healthy, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.